Hello everybody, today we are going to talk about night driving course and how to drive in nighttime properly. So as you remember, in the school, in our school, basically in every school, if you want to finish to graduate from the school properly, you have to pass night driving course and sleepy driving course as well, and first aid course also. And today we are going to talk about this night driving. Nowadays it's more comfortable to make this kind of lessons like online videos and YouTube videos, so then you can check it at home as well, so you don't have to be in the office or in the classroom. And a big part of this course was made like last year on the roads, actually. Yeah, so it was like practicum. So we were standing outside of the cars on the roads, out of the build-up area, standing there and observing some questions and checking how the lights working, which lights has to be turned on. But nowadays it's allowed to make theory lessons as well, so it's not necessary to be outside, because now it's kind of cold, you know, and of course we also cannot gather a lot of people nowadays together. So that's why we decided to make this theory part like this. I hope you will be enjoying this, and today we are going basically to observe all the tricks of this night driving and exercises that we were doing back then, and yeah, I hope you like it basically. So let's start. So what kind of lights do we have to use when we are driving? Doesn't matter at night or not, or during the daytime. Basically it's tipped headlights, side lights, and registration plate lights also, so illumination. For example, here you can see this kind of lights. In front, of course, we don't have lights, only on the back. Side lights, they're usually showing the sides of the car, so left side, right side, and you can see where exactly car, for example, during the night, how this car exactly looks like, how big is it, and that's why they are helping us to understand the sides and apparatus of this car. Dipped headlights, it's also low beams, for example, we can say. It's casual yellow lights, you can see them on the roads very often, I think, so it's not very difficult to understand. Every car have them. So once again, when driving a motor vehicle, on this vehicle, these lights have to be switched on. Deep headlights, side lights, and registration plate illumination or lights as well. For example, we have a trailer as well. We have a casual car, casual trailer. As you remember, if we have a B category car, we also can take a trailer, but his maximum mass can be only 750 kilograms, not more. If you want to take bigger trailer, like moving house or something like this, then you have to take additional categories. For example, BE category has to be then. So which lights we have to use if on the trailer if we are driving? As you see, headlights we don't have here, of course. We have only, let's say, back part of this trailer. So usually only side light has to work, and the same trailer license plate illumination. And of course, if you brake, if you brake or you show indicators, these lights also has to work. braking lights and indicators as well. So here basically headlights, side lights, registration plate lights. Here only side lights and registration plate lights as well. What kind of lights are these? Can these be used when driving at night time? How do you think? These lights we call usually daylights. You can see LED lamps here. So casual white light is not working in the middle usually. It has to be. So here it's a LED lamp, and only daylights are working basically now on this car. How do you think, can we use it at night or not? Of course, we cannot use them at night. That's why they call daylights, and only during the daytime we can use it. For what reason? How do you think we car factories and car companies, vehicle companies are making this kind of mode option? Mostly it's because of economy. Because anyway, during the daylight, usually it's very clear road, you can see everything properly. And if you use only these daylights, these LED lamps basically, you waste much less energy and fuel in your car. Because as you understand, if you use usually old cars, for example, they don't have this option. That's why when they turn on the lights, basically all the lights start to work. For example, side lights the same, headlamps, then registration plate lamps, and all these lights are working. So it's already 6 or 8 lights on every side, for example. Yeah, and I mean, like here 2 lights, yeah, headlights, then 2 side lights here, then 2 side lights on the back, and then 2 lights for the registration plate. So you see it's a lot of bulbs working at the same time. That's why we can use casual LED lamps. So just remember that we cannot use them during the daytime, of course, because we have lights only in front. Daylights we have only in front. On the back we don't have anything. Registration plate is not working, I mean lights there. Side lights are also not working on the back, and these lights are also not, and side lights in front also basically not working, only LED lamps in front. So that's why at night it's very dangerous to use them. Of course, you will not see anything because they usually don't have a big range of lighting in front. Let's check the next car. So these lights, let's say it's side lights, and on the bottom you can see fog lights. So usually usually if you turn on the fog lights, they are working under the car. Basically, they are placed under the car usually because they have to illuminate the road from the bottom, under the fog, basically. Then you can see much better what happens after this fog is like finishing or something like that. So that's why they're usually on the bottom. So this is fog lights, and this casual side lights here. You can see that they're also kind of LED here, and they are not illuminating a lot the road, basically. But fog lights still illuminating very properly. And of course, in this case, in this combination, we can use this combination at night as well. So fog lights and side lights at the same time we can use at night time, because if you turn on the side lights, separately. Also, some cars have this option. Then means we also have illumination on the back. Also, registration plate is working on the back. So means at night time it will be clear that we are on the road driving, and other drivers can see us on the road as well. So we can use them at night and during the daytime as well. Here, for example, most possibly these lights are casual headlights. So it's not side lights most probably. So imagine it's let's say it's casual headlights here, and as you already understand, these are fog lights. So this kind of combination we can use only if it's bad weather conditions. If it's bad visibility because of weather conditions, for example snow or rain or other kind of conditions. So in this case we can use casual headlights and fog lights. But if it's casual weather, in this kind of conditions, casual conditions I mean, yeah, for example during the daytime, we cannot use headlights and fog lights at the same time. Yeah, so in casual conditions of weather, we have to use side lights and fog lights then. So doesn't matter, is it nighttime or not, or daytime, we can use them only if it's bad weather conditions. Let's go next then. How do you think, what kind of lights are these? Can this be used when driving at nighttime? As I already said, now you can notice that this car has a lot of illumination. Why? Because headlamps are on and fog lights additionally are also on. So you see they are kind of even blinding. Even through the picture, it seems that it's too shiny. So especially at night, if it's good weather at night, for example in summer, it will be blinding a lot because your eyes get used to the dark, of course, surrounding you all the time. And then suddenly some car turns from the corner into your face, and you can see this lights, just a lot of lights, and they're all blinding you. So of course it's not safety, it's very dangerous. So that's why if you want to use fog lights in casual weather condition, it's better to turn side lights on and then fog lights, and try not to use casual headlights. But if it's, for example, fog or snow or rain, then we can use casual headlights and fog lights as well. Here we have a picture, and how far can you see now? How do you think? Most probably it's like 20-25 meters here, the visibility. How fast will you dare to drive here? You know, for example, that you are on the highway outside of the build-up area. Usually we have a 90 speed limit there, but of course in this kind of conditions you will not drive 90. So most probably you will drive 50 here or even less. Sometimes it's even better to stop and wait until this fog will disappear. Sometimes it happens even in Estonia during the winter. And how would you act if you saw a man on the road at the very last moment? How do you think? What options do you have? Basically, it's not a lot of options that we have. The most proper one, of course, to try to stop immediately. But imagine that you are driving at 90 and here in the fog person is standing on the road already, you see? So at 90, of course, you will not you will not stop so fastly. That's why sometimes it's even better to go out of the road. If you see fields or something, then it's better to go out from the road and then stay there. Oncoming traffic, sometimes people scary to have an accident with the pedestrian on the road and they go to the oncoming traffic. It's also not a very good option in these conditions because we don't see what cars or trucks or pedestrians may be on the left as well. So basically we have two options. Try to stop fastly, but then we need a proper speed limit for that. Or we have to go out of the road if it's possible, if it's not mountains, of course. Okay, let's go for the next picture. Driver must change speed to appropriate when the switching from the high beam to dipped headlights. Let's say we have high beams. We can use them. We usually use them when we don't have enough illumination on the road, and we don't blind other drivers in front. And we switch from high beams to the casual headlights, or low beams, we can say. It's also the same thing. What means driver must change speed to appropriate? Basically, as you see on the picture, now we have high beams on, right? Now we have casual low beams, headlights. You see how change the distance of our road illumination. So basically, if you change from high beams to headlights, then this distance become smaller very much, basically. And that's why it's, let's say we have to, for example, we're driving 90 on the highway, and we change it to the headlights in some reason, then it's better to go 50. So it's the safety speed for driving when you have headlights and this kind of road conditions, I mean night conditions. So of course it doesn't have to be exactly 50, but as you see in the text, driver must change speed to appropriate, when switching from the high beams to dipped headlights. So if you think, for example, 60 is safety in this to drive in this kind of road condition, then you can also drive 60. But also try to consider something that, for example, somewhere there you have an animal standing, you will not see it. So in this case you have to brake very fastly to brake. So that's why it's better to have a lower speed than 60 or 70 or something. So usually we talk about 50. 50 is kind of very safety speed limit for this kind of road conditions. Once again, the difference, So, choosing driving speed. What speed is safe for driving outside the city at the night time? As we already talked, safety speed for this road condition is 50. And usually headlamps have the illumination distance 40-42 meters or 3 seconds. So during we will pass this distance basically in 3 seconds, as you understand, because we have 50 kilometers per hour. For 1 second on 50 we usually pass 14 meters for 1 second. And how we can see this moment here. For example, if we have a pedestrian on the middle of the road, right? Means we see it. Usually, yeah, we drive on 50. We see pedestrian, we have headlamps on. You also can see that headlamps are usually illuminating the road like this. So mostly we see the right side of the road here. Yeah, so they are trying to make more illumination on the right in case of not blinding the drivers in front. So this is the real scheme here of illumination of the headlights. So usually we see mostly on the right. On the left we actually don't see properly. And don't be scared. So sometimes people see this kind of situation on the road when they drive at night, and they think that their lights are broken, but actually not. It's the proper way of illuminating. So it's okay here. So once again, we have 50 headlights on. We have basically 42 meters of illuminating, or 3 seconds. In 3 seconds we pass this distance. So if I see a pedestrian on the road on 50, as you already remember, I pass for 1 second I pass 14 meters, and 14 meters and here it means that also we have a reaction time, right? Usually all the humans, they are reacting they are thinking about some situation on the road for 1 second. So no, basically it takes time, yeah, to think, to realize that we have situation, to give a signal from brain to legs to start braking. And this kind of thinking and reaction time takes 1 second. So we are thinking 14 meters, let's say. Only here we start to brake, and we need to apply brakes as well, right? Of course, brakes will not starting to apply immediately. It also takes time to make them work. Usually it takes 3 minutes. It's just like milliseconds or something, right? 1 or 2 milliseconds. Of course, if you brake, they cannot apply immediately. That's why it takes time as well. So you brake, system start to work. So all the liquids are going to the discs, to the wheels, from brakes to wheels. Basically, it takes distance, it takes time, of course. And 3 meters, we are just applying the brakes. So let's say 17 meters, we are just trying to start braking. We even not brake. So 17 meters, we are still not braking. Imagine that. And after that, here, after 17 meters, we are starting to brake. 11 meters braking distance. So totally 17 plus 11, 28 meters. We have total braking distance. Yeah, so basically we have time to stop if we see a pedestrian in front, right? So that's why it's very important to choose the right speed, especially outside of the build-up area, if we don't have enough illumination or other lights, and we are using headlights for some reason. Let's observe the next situation. Now we have 90 here. 90 speed limit. You have headlights on, as usually. 42 meters is the illumination of these lights, as it was. But 1.6 seconds, you will pass this distance on 90. Also, your reaction time still stays the same, right? 1 second. So this 42 meters you will pass in 1.6 seconds. Let's see. On 90, your reaction time is 25 meters. 1 second. In 1 second, on 90, you pass 25 meters. Then, 5 meters will be brakes will be applying, and 46 meters is braking distance, the proper braking distance. So you see, you will definitely not stop in front of this pedestrian. So that's why if you are driving outside of the build-up area using headlights, it's better to choose 50. Most probably you will stop in the proper way, in the proper time. Of course, everything depends on the situation. Doesn't matter that driving school says you, or me, I'm telling you drive on 50 if you use headlights, and all your life you have to drive 50 like this using headlights. Of course not. It depends on in the situation. Maybe sometimes you can see lights from other houses on the roads, right? Villages or cities, maybe they illuminate the road better in this case, right? Or for example, in summer in Estonia, we usually have very, let's say, day nights, as we call it, day nights, because basically we don't have night at all, maybe 1 hour or 2 hours. So in this case, of course, you see the road and road condition better. So this rule is most probably acceptable for winter time, and when you completely don't have any lights, only your car, and that's it, no lights anymore. So that's why it's better to use 50. Of course, it depends on your skills as well. If you're a new driver, junior driver, in this situation, then your reaction time will be more than 1 second, maybe 1.2, 1.3. So you will pass more meters reacting. If you have old car, old braking system, or old tires, also everything this can have influence on your braking distance, of course. So that's why you have to consider all these situations and consider all your car techniques, your own skills and experience. So that's the important part of this. So here you can see how headlamps and low beams, headlamps, I mean low beams, and high beams working. Yeah, the geometry of their illumination. So this green one means we have headlights on, or low beams. They're usually illuminating the road downwards. Yeah, they are angled downwards. High beam lights, they go usually in parallel with the road surface, as you see. That's why we see better. If these lights are working down, you can see here now on the picture. But then we turn on high beams and we see much more further because they are parallel with the road. That's why they can blind also other road users. So here also very interesting situation, you see. Cars are standing on the same position. There we can see nothing basically. But if we turn high beams, then voila, we have pedestrians accidentally. Imagine you drive on 90. You will pass this small short distance of lighting like in 25 meters basically, yeah. And if you see them in the last moment, you will not brake properly. You definitely will kick the pedestrians in this case, unfortunately. So you can see how it changed. Only here, small light in the middle, you can see it's a reflector of the child here in hands. It's the only thing you see here. So that's why it's also important to use headlights in proper time. Of course, it's not like, maybe someone will think that it's a fake picture or something, but of course it's not. So people, these pedestrians are really standing there really standing there. We just turn off and on the headlamps and the high beams. So adjusting height of the lights. Basically, your lights always has to be controlled on the technical control, official government technical control. Once per year you usually pass this control, and they make all the checkings of your lights. For example, that lights are not blinking in two different directions, right? They have to blink always in one way, in one position. Because if some light will be blinking like this, someone will be blinking like this, so means you will not see anything on the road. That's why it's very important to adjust your lights in the real situation, right? Also, in the car, you can adjust if your main lights, I mean these ones, are regulated properly. Yeah. For example, after a car accident, if you have accident face to face, or something like this, your lights will be, of course, moved a little bit in two different ways. So after this accident, you have definitely to check that your lights are adjusted correctly. So you have to ask your service or workshop that they do this properly. This is okay, but most probably you cannot regulate that. Also, we have another option in the car. You can see it near, for example, in my car, in Toyota Corolla, we have on the left side we have numbers like from 0 to 5. So you can see there, you can see the small like steering wheel there, like on the mouse. And what does it mean? For example, if you have 0, it means lights are illuminating the road like this, headlights. Yeah, mostly parallel, but still not. If we have 5 or 3, 4, like going down, going up to 5, the last mode or option will be illuminating the road like this. So very downwards. For what reason? How do you think? Why we have this adjustment? For what reason? Very logical answer here. If you overload your car on the back, for example, in this picture, imagine you overload it. What happens with the car? So car is standing straight like this. This is front part, this is back part. Back part will go like this a little bit because you overload passengers or other stuff. You want to move from one flat to another flat. You have a lot of things to carry. So car go down definitely like this. So for that reason, if car is standing like this, you have to put this mode, because now car is parallel. Imagine if it goes down, these lights will be parallel with the road actually. So that's why if you have all the time incoming somebody to the car, for example, 2 persons, 3 persons, then something in the trunk, every time if you add some persons into your car or some stuff into your car, you can switch this from 0 to 1. After that, 1 more person. Then from 1 to 2, you will switch it. And if you have full car of persons and humans passengers, and trunk is also full, then you of course put to the maximum, to the 5th mode. Some cars even have more than 5th, of course. I mean, I'm talking mostly about my car now. So that's the point. I hope it's clear here. So how to switch high beams? Here we can see. Here we can see actually fog lights are working. Yeah, but if you want to turn the high beams, you just have to push the same handle on the right picture in front. Just push it. But for example, French cars have opposite system. In this case, you have to turn them on, pushing on yourself like this. But all the other cars you have to push front like this. And if you turn them on, this one are fog lights actually, yeah. So if you turn them on, you will see this blue lamp. As you already know, this green one, let's see the previous picture. Green one is for the headlights, this one is for the high beams. You always see this kind of indicators on the panel. So here you can see it's blue one, means high beams are working. How do you think? Are high beams switched on at the moment or not? Yes, we can see high beams here. And also this sign means side lights. Side lights are also on. And casual headlights also on means. On a stop or park motor vehicle and trailer at the nighttime or in case of lowered visibility must be switched on side lights and license plate illumination. So if we simplify text, if we stop or park a motor vehicle with the trailer or without the trailer at nighttime or in case of low visibility, we have to switch on side lights to see that other cars can see basically the sides of our car light, right? And license plate illumination in this case, right? So it doesn't matter in the city or out of the city, but also on the road outside the city, hazard warning lights must be used additionally. So if you stop or park in the built-up area, for example, you use license plate illumination and side lights. But if you stop or park on the outside of the built-up area, then you have to use additionally hazard lights or warning lights also. Emergency lights, we also can say. This triangle button here, yeah. Usually in the car it looks like this. So also on the road outside of the build-up area, it means that we cannot actually park according to the rules, right? During the nighttime or low visibility, we cannot park somewhere on the road outside of the build-up area. We have to choose a special place for that. So basically, we can park on the road outside of the city only if we have emergency. For example, car is broken or we have some health problem, something like this. So means, yeah, in this case, if we want just to park or rest, we have to choose a special parking place. If we have emergency, then of course we have to switch on the side lights and the license plate illumination and emergency lights. So three points you have to remember, right? And you can see that there is nothing written about the headlights or high beams. So it means we cannot use high beams or headlights when we are standing or parking on the road, right? Doesn't matter, is it city or not a city. If we start or park at nighttime or in case of low visibility, we must switch on only side lights and license plate illumination. That's the point. So no headlights, of course. And additionally to this one, we also have to use on the road outside of the build-up area, we have to use emergency lights. I hope it's clear here. No, anyway, after that you can put some comments in the video, then I can try to describe you the situation here. So switching high beams. Now we can see that that two cars, they both use high beams. Yeah, this how the trajectory of high beams works, right? And basically we see each other. Of course, it's not allowed to blind people in front like this, right? So that's why I have to switch them off. Now we have high beam. Now we have headlights or low beams. Then we are passing each other, and which moment we have to turn the high beams on again. Because here basically we have full like 100% of visibility, right? So this car gives us 50%, this one also 50%. We see both sides of the roads like 100%. Here, immediately, like suddenly, we lose this lighting, we have only 15%, right? So we have to go back to 100. In this case, we turn back to high beams again. Usually, we turn them on exactly in front of the coming car, like 5 or 3 meters usually. We will not blind him in this case. If you just turn them on in the exact proper place, like 5 or 3 meters, you will not blind him. It's not a problem. So that's why now we have 5 meters distance here, and we turn them on, and we can smoothly pass him and drive to our destination. And also very important thing here, that you basically, when you use low beams and high beams, right? In this moment, you don't see road properly. Let's say when you switch off the high beams and low beams, yeah. In this moment, you still see properly because both of you are illuminating the road. But here, you immediately the illumination of this side of the road disappears, right? Because this car is passing, and that's why, as you remember, or maybe know, for your eyes, it's much more difficult to get used to the new conditions when you are trying to enter the road from light, illuminated, basically illuminated part of the road, to not illuminated part of the road, from light to dark, basically. In this case, your eyes will be trying to get used to the new road conditions. That's why first maybe 5-10 seconds or even more, 30 seconds, you will be like basically blind bunny, not seeing anything. That's why we are using this kind of system. Immediately when you have when you are very close to this car, like you have 5 meter distance, immediately turn on the high beams, because your eyes will be trying to get used to the new road conditions very slowly. Also depending on your age or on your health conditions and this kind of stuff, right? So it's very dangerous as well. If you go from light to if you go from dark, not illuminated road to illuminated road, then of course your eyes see better. They don't have any problems with that, yeah. But if it's otherwise, then it's a problem. So now high beams are on. Front car has only low beams. And the main point, why he is blinking now? Because we turned the high beams. If we turn the high beam on, we are blinding the person. Sometimes they can blink. Blinking usually on my car, you have to do like this with this handle on the left. So to turn them on constantly, you just push. If you want to blink, you just push it on yourself. 2 or 3 times you will blink, and then other car will see something that you want to inform something, to give some information. So And now we can see that, once again, he's blinking, you see, and we turn off the lights. And you can see that illumination of the road was good. Now it's much worse, right? So that's why after you pass him, you have to use high beams immediately. I mean, not pass him, but just in front of him. So blinking means information. Some information means we are blinding him. So now we both have low beam lights. And you see we are passing each other, and I don't see anything after him, as I said. Yeah, very bad road condition. And in this moment we can turn the high beams. We are not illuminating him, basically, we're not blinding. Like this, yeah. And he also turned it on, and he's not blinding us. And we can keep moving. So, in the beginning of this lesson, I talked with you about this practicum that we had back then, like 1 year ago. For now, we're just going to observe these exercises that we had. Passing an oncoming car with deep headlights. Headlights are turned on. This car is standing. As you remember, if car is standing, you have to turn on the side lights, then registration plate illumination, and emergency lights if it's night driving, if it's outside of the build-up area at night. So, first exercise is deep headlights. Second, deep headlights and hazard warning lights, both of them, and pedestrian on the road. And the last one is the proper one, so side lights and hazard warning lights. So we have to see how it works. And all the exercises here, I mean etaps, we have casual headlights, and in the last one we have high beams. It's also allowed to use high beams if car is standing using the side lights and emergency lights, because means car is standing, right? So it's a reference for us, means car is standing. If car, for example, standing and use it, and this car is using the headlights, it means that for us, usually at night, it means that this car is moving. It's very hard to understand at night car is moving or not. That's why we have two options, side lights or headlights. It's very important. So the last one is the proper one, right? And also if car is standing, I see side lights and emergency, I can use also high beams. I'm not blinding him in this time. Now just we both have low beams, I mean headlights. We both have headlights. It's not very night now, but still you can see that it's very unclear to understand is this car is standing or moving, right? Now also, do you see? In the last moment we have a person or something on the road. He also used now casual headlights. We also use headlights, and in the last moment we see somebody is standing here, right? It's even not dark outside actually. Imagine if it's like complete dark. 3 meters only maybe, right? And now I'm like showing you, and you know that somebody is there, right? But imagine if you don't know, maybe somebody is on the road already, standing here. That's why it's also important to use reflector and reflector coats like policemen, for example, have. It's also necessary to use them if you go out of the car at night and outside of the build-up area. You basically have to use them also. It's very important, so better to have it in the car all the time. Okay, let's pass this one. Now, emergency lights. Also, he turned on the emergency lights, and also headlamps. In this case, we have more problems actually, because we think you see we have too much lights. We concentrate on the lights. Additionally, we also have emergency lights. It's very difficult to watch only on the road, right? So we also in this case don't see anything. So now we have high beams, and he has side lights and emergency lights. It's very not clear on this video, but still he has side lights and emergency, and we have high beams. So now we see better, you see. Now we see the person very correctly. Yeah, now we use side lights and headlights. That's why in this case, if we see side lights are working and side lights are working and casual emergency light is working, then we can use high beams, and then we see much better in this case. So we can overtake the car. Also, if you see again, emergency lights are working, so better to use high beams. You see, in the last moment, somebody is standing on the left. Very dangerous. In conclusion of this, we also have one more video here. Road conditions, for example, like this, you see, it's like incredible. It's absolutely impossible to drive. And person, for example, has high beams. Unreal to understand what happens on the left. Now we have side lights and emergency lights. It's like real practicum we had actually last year. So with the students, right? Now we see better and we use high beams. This car properly have side lights and emergency lights, and we see this person on the left very properly. Also side lights, emergency lights on the back, very clear. Somebody is standing. Next exercise. Notice an American man in the dark clothes. So students are walking with the car on the left side. This car has high beam, sorry, not high beams, headlights. We also have headlights, emergency lights here. Car is standing. We are moving very slowly with the pedestrian speed. And students have to walk like pedestrians nearby with the car. And who first will notice the man in the dark here? So what is the driver reaction time? Yeah, it's like, for example, if it's 50, it's usually like 10 or 15 meters. And in this case, we have reaction time from 0.8 till 1.2 seconds. No, like I told already in the beginning, it's like 1 second average. Even Michael Schumacher, if you know him, F1 Formula driving racer, he has reaction time 0.7. So even a racer have not a very big difference from casual people, right? So imagine if you are a new driver, and if you are a junior driver and you don't have any experience and skills, how important is it? So we are driving like this, and pedestrians are walking. We also can see in reflector code, person is standing over there. And only now we can see the figure in the dark here. So student stopped here because only now he saw the someone on a low speed. And of course, pedestrians who are walking on the left side of the car, they see the person, yeah. Earlier in the car, it's kind of more difficult to see it, and also this car is blinding us. Yeah, driver reaction time 0.8, 1.2 seconds. Usually between this we have, it's like 10 or 15 meters. For 1 second, for example, we pass on 50. Not for 1 second, for this range of seconds. How far will the vehicle drive in 1 second on 90? As you already know, 25 meters. So that's why it's important to use proper speed, proper lights on the highway, and then you can see the person walking and standing or something, doing with the car in the right time. Also, if it's bad weather conditions, you also can use fog lights with the high beams as well. So yeah, the point of this exercise to understand how many meters I pass in 1 second, right? As you saw in the video, it's quite a lot, like driving, walking. We have to walk all these 25 meters. Imagine it's like a big swimming pool, for example. So, exercise 3, passing the motor vehicle. Now we have headlights on. And flashing with the high beam. So actually, according to the new rules of Estonian Traffic Act, we can also flash the high beam, to blink with the high beams to inform the driver in front that we want to overtake him. So we blink once or two and then can start overtaking. Of course, if we are overtaking, what action should we take? We both now have in this case already headlights. Yeah, so you blink, then you have casual headlights, overtaking, and when you are on the same level with the car, switch on the high beams back. Then you can see more clearly. You imagine two cars are having high beams. You can see everything on the road, on the left, on the right, doesn't matter. In this case, it's possible. You're not disturbing each other. And you can see pedestrians on the road or animals or something. And after that, if you pass him, he has to turn them off. Of course, he put casual headlights. And we continue with the high beams and take our own position back. Once again, I blink. I have casual headlights. He has high beams. Now I put high beams, he put headlights, and we go overtake him. Of course, if you switch from high beam to deep headlights, you should slow down. As I already told, your eyes will be confused a little bit because they have to get used to the new road conditions. For example, if we are driving on the big highways like Pärnu-Manta or Tartu-Manta or Narva-Manta, for example, we have dividing strip in the middle, and we usually drive on the right side. Yeah, like you know, on the highway you can drive only on the right side of the road if it's free. In this case, we also can use high beams actually, but of course, depending on the situation. If you see that somebody is blinking you, it means that you are blinding him also. So of course, in this case, you have to switch them off. You don't have to, you know the rule that it's possible, but of course, in case of safety, it's sometimes you need to break the same rules, right? So you turn them off and continue, then after you will turn them on again. But according to the Traffic Act, you still can use them if you have a highway with the dividing strip in the middle and you are far from each other. Here, this car, also on the turn, of course you have to turn it off because you are blinding him. You're blinding him. But this car, as you see, his high beams are directed to the forest, basically. Yeah, so you are not blind. He's not blinding you. In this case, he can use them, and you cannot. You have to put fog lights or casual headlights. So emergency stop in the dark, in conclusion, yeah? If you are outside of the build-up area, hazard warning lights, safety vest, reflectors for the passengers. You can give them reflectors as well if you have it in the car. You put the safety vest. If required, hazard warning sign must be used. It's a warning triangle. Maybe you remember, you can put it on the back, on the road. You can put it. Usually every car has it. So as you remember, in the city, distance between this triangle and your car has to be 25 meters. On the highway 50, and the motorway 100 meters. But in Estonia we don't have motorways for now. So when pushing a car out of the road, remember that you are on the road still. For example, if you are on the left side of the car, you are trying to push it and people don't see you, like we already observed the video. For example, somebody is standing on the left side of the car, I mean from the side that is more closer to the road, driver's side, yeah, we can say. So it's very unreal to see the person. That's why we have to use the reflectors. And remember that if you have car, for example, coming, it's even better to go out from the road for a while, for a second, then continue pushing your car. So, yeah. When moving on roads in the dark time or in case of lower visibility, pedestrians must use reflectors or lights. Like this. Also, animals, you can put some coats, small coats for them. The more reflectors you have, the better. Like you are showing the side of your body also. It's like sides. You basically have side lights for your body. On the left hand, on the right, on the head. So people see you, drivers see you. Babies as well. So here, the visibility of pedestrian, if he don't have reflector, 30 meters, only we can see something. So if we drive 90, we'll definitely not see it in the right moment, and we definitely smash the pedestrian. If we have, the pedestrian has a reflector. Until now we use here, casual headlights. So even in 130 meters we can see somebody blinking. And if we use high beams in 300 meters, we can see the pedestrian high beams. So that's why it's important. You see, here it's nothing. You're just invisible man or woman for the coming car. Is it necessary? Is it necessary to turn off the high beams if we are passing the bicycle in front or on the back? Doesn't matter. How do you think? Actually, if biker is coming to you, you also have to turn off the high beams. You are blinding him. He also driving. Maybe has a wind. Maybe it's a windy day. It's all very. Maybe if it's for example, sportsman, and he's doing like trainings. They usually, if they do trainings and a very high speed, they also can drive 90, 80, 70. So imagine if you blind him. So accidentally he can go to the oncoming traffic or somewhere or out of the road. So that's why I have to turn them off. And the same if you are driving on the back and you see him in front. He, for example, want to turn head like this to see what happens, and then but he have high beams into the eyes. Then of course he will be blinded. So that's why when you are passing or not passing, he's just driving to you, you have to turn off the high beams. If we have casual pedestrians, of course, it's not necessary to turn them off or on. They are not using vehicles, they're just walking. If somebody using vehicle, then yes, you have to turn the high beams off. So for pedestrians, it's not necessary. So guys, thank you for your attention. I hope it was more or less clear for you how to drive at night, during the night time in Estonia, in Tallinn especially, and out of Tallinn. So please, if you have any questions, you can text me here in comments or using the email. I'm also waiting for your subscribes and likes. So thank you very much for watching. See you soon. Bye.